Hey Neil, do you remember what we were talking about last time about the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, the name being changed because the church wanted to change the name to not have the word Mormon anymore anywhere associated with their church? They've actually done it.
I know, it's so funny. They're going to have to change all their websites.
Yes.
Everything is on mormonism.org, isn't it?
Well, we'll have to bring, if anyone, because we've been away for a couple of weeks, so we're going to have to bring our listeners up to speed. The Mormon Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as they now like to be known. That is their official name, but they want to be known only by that. They had some sort of revelation or something or other which said, God's whispered in his ear and said, look, we can't use this Mormon word anymore. It's a disrespectful nickname. It's like calling us the Moonies or something. There's actually an article that's come out from sfgate.com, and this explains what's happened. The world-famous Mormon Tabernacle Choir was renamed Friday to drop the word Mormon in a move that follows guidelines issued earlier this year by the church's president, calling on people to stop using substitutes for the full name of the religion, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is quite a mouthful, you must admit. The singing group is now called, wait for it, the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Doesn't really roll off the tongue.
No, they're not going to have a lot of luck on this change in the name of the Mormonism, I don't think. Seeing as they themselves were advertising, Ask a Mormon, what do Mormons believe, we're Mormons, for the last few decades. And for me, I guess, just long names just don't work.
No, I mean, and also, what the hell is a tabernacle? Is it some sort of a temple or something? I've never quite been sure what a tabernacle is. And again, you have to get your tongue around it. So Temple Square Choir, that might be a good one. But people are going to keep calling it the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
And they're going to keep saying, there's no way on a Sunday morning when you get a knock at the door, someone's going to say, it's the bloody Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. They're just going to say, it's the bloody Mormons again.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to.
People always, people are basically lazy, and it's whatever's easiest is what they're going to default to.
But I guess this comes down to the fact that even though it's called the Book of Mormon, more and more people are getting to know what their beliefs are. Because of work like you're doing, Mark, thank goodness. And they're realising how stupid it is. And the word Mormon.
Do you think they're afraid that the word Mormon's being associated with all the bad stuff, all the shit, the polygamy, the anti-gay stuff,
But maybe, but also just that it's a stupid belief system. So
well, without going into it, dear listeners, if you don't know how the Mormon Church came about, just look it up and prepare for a long WTF kind of ride, because that's what I took when I started researching this. So we'll go a little bit more into detail about this. Church President Russell M. Nelson in August said he wants people to stop using the word Mormon, or the acronym LDS, instead of the religion's full name. Nelson, in a statement at the time, said that the Lord has impressed upon my mind the importance of the name he has revealed for his church. So what comes to mind is why now?
Well, because they're an organisation that leads by revelation, aren't they? So the new leader gets things revealed to him. The fact that all the other leaders in past 150 years didn't have this revelation, it's quite strange. God
must have been fine with the word Mormon.
Must have been fine with the word Mormon.
And then, as we know, God changes his mind often, despite the fact that he never changes. Faith's presidents are considered prophets who lead the church through revelations from God. Yeah, exactly what you said. The church's full name was given by revelation from God to founder Joseph Smith in 1838, according to the faith's beliefs. So they're going back to that, really. But it took them long enough. What has it been, 150 years?
Best of luck. They'll still be known as the Mormons in another 150 years' time. They'll still be saying, have you heard about the magic underpants that the Mormons wear in another 150 years' time?
Yeah, they're not going to say, have you heard of the magic underwear that the people who belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints wear? No.
No, definitely not.
Anyway, moving on. This isn't quite so rib-tickling, unfortunately. This is from AlJazeera.com. Nigeria's undercover atheists, in their own words. Now, this is a big problem. You and I know somebody who's left Nigeria because he doesn't believe. And he's told us, he's never going back there. It'll be just trouble for him. Anyway, we're going to go and into this article and see what's going on here. So, denouncing God can be a dangerous thing in Nigeria, where religion is the rhythm of life. Atheism, considered blasphemy by many, is a largely underground movement that's hard to quantify, but increasingly reported among millennials. Atheists come together in private on WhatsApp groups and use pseudonyms on social media sites to share ideas. The Nigerian population of nearly 200 million is split almost evenly between Muslims and Christians with sizable followers of traditional spirituality. I'm not quite sure what that means, but we never have been quite sure what traditional spirituality means, but it's kind of like searching or not quite sure or something like that. Anyway, I'll try and pronounce his name right. Gideon Obasogi, a Roman Catholic cleric, told Al Jazeera, "As a clergyman, this makes me sad that today we have people in Nigeria going in for atheism. The effect of this will be terrible. For one who says there is no God, he can do all kinds of horrible things. I feel this will lead to anarchy and chaos. The rise of atheism in Nigeria is not wonderful news." Well, what's not wonderful is the way that he treats atheists in this sort of blanket sort of criticism.
Yeah, it's the age-old thing. Oh, God, we come back to this almost every other episode. Just because you're an atheist doesn't mean you're going to go out and do bad stuff. We won't go into that too deeply, but...
Do you think they actually know that? But they think it's a great line to feed their flock? You know, stay with us, because if you lose faith and doubt, you will be seen as a horrible person, or you will become a horrible person.
And they lose their power as the head of a church, and a lot of the heads of these churches live in lovely big houses and have lovely big cars.
That's right, yes.
But the fact is, he must know he's talking rubbish, because he can't be completely ignorant to the fact that the countries that are most atheistic in the world have lower crime rates and have better social care systems. He can't be ignorant to that fact, so therefore he is just lying to his congregation to keep them on side. What I find interesting about this article is it's done on aljazeera.com,
yeah,
which is an Arabic site.
It is, yes.
So it's even
exactly.
It's great that this article's out there, because that will give power to people who read these sites. That
is Al Jazeera is subtly trying to say something to its
I don't think
its
it
own
is, because
Middle Eastern
I do believe
readership.
it's a Qatari. I believe it's a Qatari channel, very religious country, but their news coverage is quite even-handed sometimes. So just the fact that more people are now going to realise that there are atheist groups out there. They're going to be searching them out now to find like-minded people, which I think is great news.
Yeah, and in fact, it goes. The article goes into that very thing. It continues, in recent months, Nigerian atheists have registered 3 pro-secular organizations: Atheist Society of Nigeria, the Northern Nigerian Humanist Association, and the Nigerian Secular Society. So there you go. We need organizations as a space for people to come out, says Mubarak Bala, who helped register the groups. Bala attracted media attention in 2014 after being admitted to a psychiatric hospital in Kano by his parents when they found out he was an atheist. He says his father and uncles held him down for 30 minutes and forced him to take medications given by the psychiatrist, who told him everyone needs God. That's quite shocking, really.
It is shocking that someone from the medical industry would say everyone needs God. That is just shocking. And it's also shocking that his family would hold him down to take medication, but I guess that's just their ingrained beliefs and their fear that for their son, because that's what they've been taught.
And this reminds me of a friend of Talk Beliefs, Sohail Ahmed, who spoke quite early in the early years on Talk Beliefs.
There's a video, search it out.
Yeah, Sohail Ahmed, he is a Pakistani who grew up Muslim here in Britain. He decided that he didn't really believe, he was having a few doubts.
Yeah.
And basically his family got an exorcist in.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was held down, but he was kept in a room, and various verses from the Quran were shouted over him. It was very frightening for him. And then the family also found out he was gay and basically kicked him out on the street.
Yeah.
This is what goes on in Nigeria all the time.
Yeah, and it's, very brave man, because it is dangerous to be an atheist in Nigeria and some countries like this. So I hope he's got a good support network. If anyone sees any work he's doing, check it out. Because it's a dangerous place to be an atheist. But as we know, that's just a lack of belief in God. It doesn't say anything about you, anything else
people
about
are being
you as a
told
human
that
being.
there's something wrong with you, or that you're possessed.
Yeah. That will be the line, they're possessed by Satan. Or...
Now, to people like you and me, this is the ultimate irony, you know.
Yes.
It's like, the people who say that they see the invisible man are not the crazy ones, but the person who says, I don't see anything,
yeah,
they are the crazy ones?
Apparently so. And they also fail to believe that, or understand that we don't believe in devils and demons either.
Yeah. They associate atheism.
They think we're working for the demons or working for Satan.
Yeah.
We don't believe in that nonsense either. All over the world, I have arguments with people about this all the time. They're saying the West's being invaded by Islam. I'm just like, just do some research at how many young people in Islamic nations are losing their faith. We are not being invaded by Islam. Everywhere in the world, non-religiosity is on the rise. Everywhere.
And wasn't one of Richard Dawkins' books, the e-book version of it, I don't know if one of his books...
That was God Delusion.
God Delusion. The most downloads came from, I think it was Saudi Arabia, one of those places.
It was millions of copies downloaded in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So, groups like this popping up all over the world in very religious countries, suppressed by the local people, sometimes by governments, sometimes by laws. But it's progress as far as I'm concerned.
It is, absolutely. And I do want to say to anyone who's listening to this, if you are from Nigeria or a country like that and you would like to speak out, just drop me an email. The email is in the description below. If you want to get out your story, we can do it any way you want. We don't have to show your face. We could do it just audio on here, or we could do it on video if you want, any way whatsoever, or I could just get a statement from you. Get in contact with me and we can get your story out.
Absolutely.
Okay, we are going to move on to something which we can't not talk about, which is our friends of the Jehovah's Witnesses, again, are having a little bit of trouble.
And as usual, money trouble.
Yeah, this comes from jwvictims.org. Montana jury awards woman $35 million in lawsuit against the Watchtower. Now, if you don't know, the Watchtower is the organization which runs the Jehovah's Witnesses. And as we know, they've been having a few problems over the years with covering up sex abuse, especially pedophilia. Now, this particular trial, will give a bit of background. This case took place in the Thompson Falls congregation, where it is alleged that a congregation member sexually assaulted, molested, and raped two young women, both family members of the abuser, over a 13-year period dating back to the 1990s. The abuse began with one plaintiff, now age 32, who alleges that her brother was also a victim of abuse. Elders in the congregation apparently disfellowshipped, that is, excommunicated the abuser in 2004, but allowed him back into the religion the very next year. Now that's the important point. So yeah, this has happened. The attorney for Jehovah's Witnesses said in her arguments, the Constitution bars the court from contradicting a religious organization on issues of religious beliefs, including canon law, church doctrine, and established church practice. So the attorney for the J-Dubs had all these excuses, none of which were, held up. But this one here, that was struck down rather sharply.
So hang on. So the defence, are they trying to justify rape?
They're basically saying you can't accuse us of anything. How dare you? The Constitution bars the court from contradicting a religious organization
on issues of religious belief, including canon law, church doctrine, and established church practice. They use this line in the defence of rape. Wow. I'm sorry, that's just...
Pretty much. The judgment pays $4 million in compensation plus $30 million in punitive damages from Watchtower and $1 million in punitive damages from the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. That judgment must be reviewed and can be reduced by the trial judge. The judge also did not accept the attorney's argument that church practice was exempt from mandatory reporting laws. As one news report stated, earlier in the case, Judge James Manley ruled that the criminal acts were foreseeable to the church's leadership when they allowed him to return. And that's the crux of it, isn't it? They saw that he was doing these wrong things, and then they let him come back in, and he continued to do these things.
That's the crux of it. The reason they use that line, the Constitution bars the court from contradiction of religious organisations, blah, blah, blah. It's the two-witness rule. That's what they're talking about, isn't it?
The two-witness rule, which the Jehovah's Witnesses famously use, it's from the Bible, of course, that any crime has to be reported by at least 2 witnesses. Otherwise, it'll be pretty much ignored.
Yeah.
So when a child comes to the elders and says, so-and-so has been touching me, they say, well, you need somebody to say that he saw it happening. No, that's not going to happen, is it?
No. So the judge,
Yeah.
it says here, you just read out, the judge also did not accept the attorney's argument that church practice was exempt from mandatory reporting laws. That is incredibly significant, that line, because that's probably precedent. And they have thousands and thousands of cases sitting on their books of people accusing the church of covering up paedophilia and rape. I mean, this is an organisation that is financially in trouble anyway, because they had to sell their head office to settle some claims.
So these are coming out in the States. We already had the Australian Royal Commission, and they had, I think, 1,000 cases.
And we have been told by an XJW before, they think the church will die because of lack of funds in the end, because they've got so many court cases.
Yeah, they're going to have to introduce tithing or something, or,
Yeah.
or charge of the magazines, you know, because they can't go on selling property. I don't know how much property they have.
So I reckon
Probably a lot.
this will turn out to be much more important than just the 35 million compensation, which is big in itself. But they're probably going to test it, try to take it to the Supreme Court, I'm guessing, because they won't want to put £35 million into this person's pocket.
It'll be interesting to see, as this is the United States Supreme Court, and we see what's happening there at the moment.
Yeah,
How is it going to go? It's
well, I'm not an expert on American law. It would be interesting if someone could tell us if they have got a right to appeal this, or whether it is a final verdict from the trial judge.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
That would be interesting to know. But anytime you got precedent, that line will be brought forward in future cases.
Yeah,
time and time again now. Wow. Big story.
It is a big story, and we finished a little bit early, so we can catch up on some news. I just want to plug the Scifi Collective, which of course, Neil, is the other podcast which you weigh in on with Wayne, of course. And you were doing a bit of ghost busting, I noticed, the other day.
Yeah, this is some of the light-hearted stuff we do. There's a game coming out on Android and iPhone called Ghostbusters World, so anyone who played Pokemon will get the game straight away. It's augmented reality in the real world with Ghostbusters, which to me is a childhood dream come true. So this
is the supernatural stuff we do believe in.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was great, and next weekend is a massive weekend for me because we've got this Trek conference, Destination Star Trek up in Birmingham, and I've managed to blag a all-pass press pass, so therefore I'm going to get some interviews with some.
I'm not surprised. Did you say that the cast of almost all the cast of Star Trek Discovery are going to be there?
They are,
and you're going to talk to them.
Hopefully, we're going to grab as many as we can.
Oh.
So we've got that on the Friday. My brother, who does the other part, he's staying over the weekend because I've got to rush back on Saturday for the People's Vote March, which is the stuff I do on Reason Now.
Yes. Okay.
So it's a big weekend for me next weekend. 100,000 people last time. We're hoping to get many, many more than that. We're marching for a People's Vote on Brexit. So it's a huge weekend for me. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing with my Reason Now head on. So yeah. Busy weekend coming up next weekend.
Yeah, excellent. And we will be back. I'm certain we'll be back next week. I know we had a bit of a break. I've been busy doing a lot of filming, a lot of editing, and a lot of interesting things coming up. And of course, Talk Belief News continues as always. And don't forget also to check out Evolution Soup on Instagram and Pinterest. I don't know if you noticed, but the Instagram is doing really well.
You're getting a lot of likes on some of your pictures.
Yeah, for something I just started up. So I'm really pleased about that. Anything to promote science and evolution as an actual theory, which people keep telling me, oh, it's just a theory. Anyway, so Neil, I will see you here next week.